Close your eyes for a moment and ask yourself this. What if life was always meant to work out in your favor? What if all the setbacks, the closed doors, the disappointments, and the delays were never meant to break you, but to redirect you into alignment with something far greater than you imagine? You were never born to live in survival. You were not sent here to merely get by, to constantly worry about what's next, or to chase after things that seem forever out of reach. That is not the truth of your existence. You came into this world with divine purpose, sacred potential, and a powerful destiny that already knows your name. The truth is, struggle is not your identity. It's a temporary illusion that you have the authority to dissolve. But somewhere along the way, you were taught to believe otherwise. You were told that life is hard, that luck belongs to others, that blessings are random, and that some people are simply chosen while others are forgotten. And so you started shrinking. You started doubting. You began to think that maybe the magic of life was for everyone except you. Well, I'm here to wake you up from that lie, because the truth is, the universe is always conspiring in your favor. And the moment you begin to act as if you are already favored, already guided, already blessed, that's when everything starts to shift. That's when life starts opening up for you in ways you never imagined. You are not unlucky. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are divinely timed. There is a rhythm to your life, a timing to your arrival, a flow that you are meant to trust, not fear. But fear crept in. Fear told you that if you don't chase, if you don't struggle, you'll fall behind. Fear made you believe that blessings had to be earned through exhaustion and stress. But the ones who truly rise are not the ones who chase. They're the ones who align, the ones who wake up and declare, this world is mine to walk through with grace. Every step I take is guided. Every breath I take is a gift. I am not unlucky. I am chosen. And that's where it begins, with the decision, with the knowing, with the radical act of choosing to live as if you were the luckiest soul alive. It's not arrogance. It's not delusion. It's a sacred shift in identity, because luck at its core is not about chance. It's about belief. It's about what you believe you are worthy of, what you believe life holds for you, and how you show up in the world as a result. But when you start acting like you're lucky, something strange happens. The universe starts reflecting that belief. You begin to see signs, coincidences, divine alignments, opportunities that feel perfectly timed. People start treating you differently. Life starts opening doors where once there were only walls. It doesn't require years of waiting. It doesn't demand perfection. All it takes is a shift in posture, a decision to walk as if you are being carried, a decision to believe, even when there is no evidence, that something greater is unfolding behind the scenes. You don't have to wait to feel lucky. You just have to act as if it's already true. So today I challenge you, speak with boldness, walk with confidence, and expect good things, not because you're desperate, but because you finally remember who you are. You are not here to struggle. You are here to shine. And when you act like the luckiest person in the world, you start becoming the person you were always meant to be. Let's begin with a deep truth that most people overlook. What you assume to be true begins to shape your entire life. Your assumptions are not just thoughts floating in your mind. They are blueprints for your reality. You may believe luck is a random force, but in truth, luck is an identity. It's a frequency, a belief system, and most importantly, it's a state of being that you must choose again and again. Every day, people walk through life unknowingly affirming their limitations. They say things like, I never catch a break. Nothing good ever happens to me. Or some people are just born lucky. And without realizing it, these are not just words. They are assumptions, quiet agreements with lack, silent contracts with struggle. These beliefs are seeds and they grow into experiences. But what if you change the script? What if, starting today, you began to assume something radically different? that everything always works in your favor, that the right people find you at the right time, that blessings chase you down, that doors open without effort. You don't wait for the evidence. You create the evidence by living in the feeling first. That is the power of assumption. When you assume you're lucky, your mind starts filtering reality differently. You begin to notice opportunities you once ignored. You approach challenges with a sense of calm and expectation. You walk into rooms not hoping, but knowing you'll leave better than you arrived. It's not magic, it's alignment. Consider this. Two people walk into the same room. One assumes no one wants to talk to them, that they'll be overlooked, that they don't belong. The other assumes they are welcomed, celebrated, and divinely positioned. Who do you think gets more attention? Who makes better connections? Who draws the energy toward them? The answer is obvious. The difference is not in their appearance or their past. It's in what they assume to be true about themselves. That's the secret. It's not about being chosen. It's about choosing yourself. Luck is not a gift from the sky. It is a mirror held up to your identity. When you wake up and say, I expect beautiful things today, you begin to walk in a way that matches that expectation. You don't chase. You don't force. You flow. And when you flow, the universe responds. But let me be clear. This isn't about pretending. It's not about faking it until you make it. It's about embodying it until it's undeniable. You begin acting like someone who is guided. You start treating yourself as someone who always lands on their feet. You begin to move as if everything is rigged in your favor. I'm not going to lie. I'm Belinda. You are definitely on time. It starts to become true. You begin to experience synchronicities. You bump into the right people. You say the right words without even planning. You get that unexpected opportunity or message. Why? Because you stepped into a new frequency and life met you there. This isn't ego. This is alignment. You're not demanding that life owes you something. You're simply accepting what was already written for you. You are no longer resisting goodness. You are assuming it. So let your assumption be this. I am lucky. I am favored. I am aligned with divine timing. Everything is unfolding exactly as it should, and I expect nothing but blessings. The moment you take on that identity, your world begins to reflect it. Not because something outside of you changed, but because you did. Luck is not found, it is claimed. And it is claimed through the sacred, quiet, and powerful act of assuming it already belongs to you. There is a hidden law at work in your life. It doesn't shout. It doesn't push. It whispers through every thought you think, every emotion you feel, and every energy you release into the world. This law is simple. You attract what you radiate. If you constantly radiate worry, lack, and self-doubt, you'll find yourself surrounded by situations that match that energy. But when you radiate confidence, gratitude, joy, and unwavering belief in your favor, you begin to magnetize things that align with that vibration. This law is invisible, but it is always active. It doesn't take days off. It listens not to your words, but to your energy. You could say, I want good things, but if your energy is vibrating with fear and resistance, what you receive will echo that inattention. On the other hand, if you say nothing at all, but walk through life with a quiet certainty that you are supported, guided, and lucky, life will begin responding to that frequency. This is not about faking positivity or denying your emotions. It's about owning your internal atmosphere. It's about becoming aware of what you're broadcasting into the field of reality around you. Because whether you know it or not, you are always sending out a signal. And that signal is shaping your future. Think of yourself like a magnet. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. And you become what you consistently radiate. If you radiate power, peace, and purpose, you'll draw in circumstances that reflect those qualities. You'll find yourself meeting people who elevate your path, walking into opportunities that feel destined, and experiencing outcomes that feel almost too perfect to be coincident. This is why people who see themselves as lucky often continue to get lucky. It's not that the universe prefers them. It's that they've become a vibrational match for the very things they desire. They believe it's normal to win. They expect favor. They assume life is on their side. And as a result, their energy aligns with outcomes that fulfill those beliefs. You might think this only applies to the spiritual or mystical, but look at your own life. Have you ever noticed how when you're in a good mood, the world seems to flow effortlessly? Traffic moves, people smile, doors open. And when you're in a bad mood, everything feels like resistance. That's not an accident. That's resonance. To act like the luckiest person in the world is to radiate the energy of one who is blessed. It's not about pretending or manipulating reality. It's about tuning your inner world to the frequency of joy, ease, and expectation. The more you dwell in that energy, the more reality shapes itself around it. So ask yourself, what am I radiating right now? Are you radiating fear or faith, doubt or trust, scarcity or abundance? Your outer world is merely a reflection of the energy you're carrying. Change the energy, and the reflection must change too. This invisible law is always listening, not with ears, but with vibration. And it responds not to what you wish for, but to what you believe, and broadcasts through your presence. So today, begin to carry yourself differently. Walk as if everything is unfolding for your highest good. Speak with the conviction of someone who knows they are guided. Feel with the heart of one who expects miracles, not out of entitlement, but out of alignment. Let your energy be your prayer. Let your vibration be your command. Because the law is always working, and the universe is always listening to what you radiate. For far too long, you may have lived under a script that wasn't yours. A silent story playing in your mind that says, I'm not enough. Nothing ever works out for me. Or, some people are lucky, but I always miss out. These are not truths. These are inherited beliefs passed down through experiences, through pain, through the voices of others who never realized their own power. But today, that old script ends right here, right now. You are not a victim. You are not cursed. And you are not doomed to repeat the same story over and over. The reason so many people feel stuck is not because they lack opportunity, but because they keep repeating the same internal dialogue. They keep telling themselves the same disempowering story. This is just who I am. This is how life goes for people like me. But here's the truth. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not your circumstances. You are what you believe yourself to be. And that belief can change at any moment. The moment you realize that, you awaken. You break the cycle. You rise from the ashes of your old identity and begin to write a new one. One where you are lucky, blessed, favored, guided, and deeply worthy of a life that feels beautiful to live. Rewriting the inner script is not about lying to yourself. It's about telling the truth. The truth you were never taught. The truth that your worth was never up for debate. The truth that you don't need to earn divine favor. It already exists within you. The truth that you were born with power, but the world convinced you otherwise. To act like the luckiest person in the world, you must first believe you are no longer the person who life happens to. You are the person who life happens through. Start speaking differently to yourself. Start catching those old thoughts the moment they arise and replace them with something more aligned. When the old voice whispers, you're always behind, respond with, I am always in perfect divine timing. When the voice says, you never win, answer with, everything is working in my favor, even now. Words matter. Thoughts matter. But belief is what anchors transformation. You may not see immediate changes outside of you, but keep affirming the truth within. The real shift happens first in the unseen. Reality follows your mind, not the other way around. Look at your past, not as proof of failure, but as the soil that nurtured your strength. Everything you've been through has been training, not punishment. You weren't being broken. You were being prepared to remember who you are. And now that you've remembered, it's time to live from that space. Act like the person who knows they're blessed. Think like someone who expects good news. Walk like someone who is grateful in advance. You were never unlucky. You were just taught to expect less. You were hypnotized into small thinking, limited dreaming, and fear-based action. But no more. Now you speak with authority. You think with clarity. You move with vision. You've rewritten the inner script, and this new version of you is magnetic, bold, and unshakably aligned with divine favor. So no, you are not a victim. You never were. You are the author, and starting now, you're writing a story that begins with these words. I am the luckiest soul alive. And the universe will echo back, yes, you are. There is something undeniably magnetic about a person who walks into a room with quiet confidence. Not arrogance, not performance, but presence. The kind of presence that makes others pause and look. Not because of their appearance, not because of their title, but because they carry an energy that says, I belong here. I was sent here. That's the energy of someone who understands their divine positioning. When you begin to act as if you are the luckiest person in the world, your entire posture changes. You stop second-guessing yourself. You stop shrinking in rooms where your presence is needed. You stop trying to prove your worth because you've already accepted it. This isn't about ego. It's about divine knowing. It's about walking into situations, relationships, opportunities, and environments with the mindset that you are placed there with purpose. That something higher than you has already cleared the path. That nothing is random. Not the timing, not the meeting, not the opportunity. When you believe this, you walk with a different kind of authority. You no longer seek permission to be seen. You're not there to fit in. You are there to bring something. Your energy, your presence, your intuition, your perspective, your wisdom. These are not just additions to the room. They are the very reason the room needed you. When you see yourself this way, fear dissolves. Insecurity fades. You're not there hoping to be accepted. You're there to align, to elevate, and to express the fullness of who you are. That shift in energy is what separates those who wait for life to happen from those who command life to respond. People will often tell you to fake it until you make it, but this is deeper than that. This is not about pretending to be confident. It's about remembering that you are never meant to beg for your place in the world. You are not here by accident. You are here by divine design. So when you enter any room, be it a meeting, a conversation, a new opportunity, or a space of uncertainty, carry yourself as if you are walking in with the entire universe backing you, because you are. You are not just a body in a room. You are a force in motion. And when you move with purpose, doors open, hearts open. Let's let your body language reflect your truth. Shoulders back, chin lifted, eyes forward, not with pride, but with peace, a deep inner knowing that says, I didn't arrive here by chance. I was chosen for this moment. And that moment could be anything, a job interview, a difficult conversation, a chance to share your message, a room full of strangers. No matter the scenario, the principle remains the same. You were sent here. Walk in like someone who has already been accepted. Speak like someone whose voice matters. Think like someone who knows their value is not determined by others, but by the divine assignment on their life. The people who rise in life are not always the most talented or the most connected. They're often the ones who simply believe in their belonging. And belief is contagious. When you walk in with grounded certainty, the world adjusts. People respond. Circumstances shift. So the next time you step into a new space, remember, you don't need to impress. You just need to express. Express your truth. Express your confidence. Express your quiet assurance that everything is unfolding as it should. You're not waiting to be called. You've already been sent. And when you carry that energy, the world can't help but open the door. Words have energy. They shape your thoughts, direct your emotions, and influence the vibration you carry through life. And when those words are spoken with belief, repeated with conviction, they don't just stay in your mind. They echo into the world around you. One of the most powerful ways to shift your reality is by changing the words you say to yourself about yourself every single day. There is one affirmation that can radically realign your energy, renew your mindset, and recalibrate your identity. It's simple, yet profound. I am the luckiest soul alive. Let that statement sit with you for a moment. Say it out loud, not as a wish or a hope, but as a declaration. I am the luckiest soul alive. Feel how different that energy is. There's no desperation in it, no pleading, just knowing. Calm, grounded, unshakable knowing. This affirmation works not because it's magical, but because it speaks directly to your identity. And identity is everything. How you see yourself determines how you speak, how you act, what you tolerate, and what you expect. When you affirm daily that you are the luckiest soul alive, you begin to shift the way you respond to life, and more importantly, how life responds to you. At first, it may feel strange. You might say it and your mind will fight back. How can I be the luckiest? Look at my situation. Look at my struggles. But that's exactly why you must keep repeating it. Not to escape reality, but to reshape it. Because repetition creates belief, and belief creates experience. Say it when you wake up. Say it when you walk into the unknown. Say it when things seem to go wrong. Say it when things go right. Make it your anchor in both peace and chaos, because the moment you claim that identity, you begin attracting circumstances that align with it. Why? Because when you believe you're lucky, you begin to move differently. You stop hesitating. You stop doubting your worth. You stop expecting the worst. You begin to approach life expecting good news. You begin to trust the process. You begin to notice the blessings you used to overlook. You meet people who mirror that energy. You hear the right words, get the right call, find yourself in the right place at the perfect time, not by force, but by flow. This is the power of intentional affirmation. It reprograms your subconscious, clears your inner dialogue, and sets a new spiritual rhythm for your day. You're not just saying pretty words. You're aligning with truth. And what truth is that? That you are divinely guided, that you are chosen, that life is not happening to you, but for you, that you carry a favor you may not even fully understand yet, but it is real and it is active. See, luck isn't always loud. Sometimes it's subtle. It's the parking spot that opens up just when you need it, the friend who calls with the answer, the opportunity that shows up after you thought all hope was lost. It's the timing, the flow, the invisible orchestration of life that starts aligning with you once you declare who you are. And the luckiest soul alive. Speak it. Own it. Breathe it in. Let it settle into your spirit until it becomes natural, until it becomes your new baseline, not forced, familiar. The more you say it, the more your world begins to reflect it. And soon, you won't just be saying the affirmation, you'll be living it. So don't wait for evidence. Be the evidence. Start now. Say it again. I am the luckiest soul alive. And feel life shift around you. There is a profound stillness in those who know. A quiet confidence in those who no longer feel the need to beg, rush, or chase. When you carry the energy of someone who is deeply aligned with their path, you don't have to run after anything, because what is meant for you begins to find you. One of the greatest misconceptions we've been taught is that if we're not constantly hustling, if we're not exhausting ourselves, if we're not pushing and striving every second, we'll miss out on success. But this idea is rooted in fear, not truth. In truth, those who are truly aligned move with calm. They trust. They know. And that knowing becomes their power. When you start acting like the luckiest person in the world, one of the first things that shifts is your pace. You stop rushing. You stop doubting. You stop reaching with desperation. Because luck, favor, divine timing, these things are not triggered by chaos. They are unlocked through alignment. And alignment is found in stillness. Think about it. When someone truly believes everything is working out in their favor, they don't panic. They don't act out of fear. They don't grab for every opportunity like it might be the last one they'll ever get. Instead, they observe. They listen. They wait for the right moment, not because they're passive, but because they're strategic. They're connected. They're in sync with something higher. Stillness doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing everything from a place of grounded peace. When your energy is frantic, the world mirrors that energy. You attract scattered outcomes, unstable people, and unclear paths. But when your energy is settled, centered, and rooted in the belief that everything good is already on its way, you become magnetic. You draw in opportunities effortlessly. You align with ease. The lucky don't chase because they don't have to. They understand something most people overlook. When you rest in the energy of already having it, life bends to meet you. The answers come. The people appear. The resources flow in. Stillness is not laziness. It's power under control. It's the refusal to let fear dictate your moves. It's the inner stance that says, if it's mine, it's coming. I don't have to force it. That energy creates room for grace to move in your life. Look at nature. Trees don't rush to grow. Rivers don't panic to reach the ocean. The sun doesn't chase the moon. Everything unfolds in divine rhythm. Why should your life be any different? When you act like the luckiest person in the world, you step into that rhythm. You begin to understand that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is wait without worry, to breathe, to stay ready, to prepare in peace, not in pressure. There's a reason the world responds differently to people who are calm in chaos. They are rare, they are powerful, and they are clear. Their stillness is proof of their belief. So today, stop chasing. Let go of the need to control every outcome. Release the fear that says, if I don't do something now, I'll miss out. You will not miss what is yours. Not when you're in alignment. Not when you trust the timing. Not when you understand that real luck is spiritual order in motion. The calmest person in the room holds the most power. The quietest belief carries the loudest manifestations. The still soul is the one who receives the most. You don't have to run anymore. Just align and receive. Let this sink in. You are not overlooked. You are not forgotten. You are not just another face in the crowd. You are the universe's favorite. There's something inside of you, something secret, something powerful that the world needs. And the moment you begin to live like you are chosen, like life is set up in your favor, like everything is working for you and not against you, is the moment everything begins to shift. But here's the truth. Life doesn't change until you do. And that change starts with how you see yourself. Most people move through life with hesitation. They shrink themselves. They wait for permission to rise. They wait for the world to give them a reason to believe they're worthy. But those who truly live free, those who manifest beauty, abundance, joy, and favor, they don't wait. They decide. They declare their identity, and the universe responds. So today, declare this. I am the universe's favorite. This isn't arrogance. This isn't pride. It's alignment. You're not saying you're better than anyone else. You're saying you're no longer going to treat yourself like you're less than. You're recognizing that the same power that created stars, oceans, mountains, and galaxies is the same power that formed you. That means you were never meant to live small. Walk like someone who's favored. Think like someone who's already supported. Speak like someone whose steps are ordered. And trust like someone who knows there's a divine intelligence always guiding the way. When you carry that kind of energy, life shifts, people notice, doors open, not because you're lucky by chance, but because you're aligned by choice. You've chosen to believe something higher. You've chosen to remember who you are. You were never created to chase validation, approval, or worth. You were born with it already etched into your spirit. But the world tries to cover that up. It throws experiences, pain, and doubt your way in an attempt to dim your light. Yet still, you shine. You're here. You're awakening. And that's not an accident. You're not waiting on a sign. You are the sign. You're not hoping something good happens. You are the good that's happening. You're not asking for permission to be seen. You were born to stand out. This is what happens when you live like the luckiest person in the world. You stop playing the role of the outsider and step into your rightful place as a co-creator of your life. You don't wait to feel favored. You act as if you already are, because in truth, you are. Life is not random. It's not chaos. It's deeply intelligent. And that intelligence responds to the energy you give it. When you affirm, I am the universe's favorite, you are declaring that you are available for miracles, for blessings, for divine timing, for perfect alignment. And those things begin to flow into your life, not because you've earned them, but because you've aligned with them, because you've stepped into the frequency where favor lives. So how do you act like the universe's favorite? You expect peace. You expect provision. You expect solutions. You expect support. You expect to be seen, heard, and lifted. You become unavailable for drama, doubt, and delay. You become a magnet for grace, abundance, and joy. And without needing to chase, you begin to attract everything that's meant for you. Let this be your truth moving forward. I am the universe's favorite. Everything I need wants me back. Everything I seek is already seeking me. And everything I desire is already on its way. We don't have to earn this truth. You just have to own it. And when you do, you'll realize luck was never random. It was always your birthright.
When you hear the words, I am a multi-billionaire, what comes to your mind? Perhaps you see vast mansions, luxury cars, private jets, or the admiration of millions. And while those things may appear on the outside, I want to take you deeper to the hidden spiritual meaning of wealth. You see, being a billionaire is not first about what you possess. It is about who you are. Long before any dollar touches your hand, your inner world determines the level of your wealth. The truth is, the billions you dream of already exist, not outside of you, but within your consciousness. This universe is infinitely abundant. There is no shortage of energy, no shortage of opportunities, no shortage of riches. And yet most of us live as beggars in a world of gold because we have forgotten our divine inheritance. The mystics have taught for centuries, you are not here to chase wealth. You are here to awaken to the fact that you already possess it. Wealth in the spiritual realm is wholeness. It is the awareness of your oneness with the source that creates and sustains all things. It is knowing that nothing is withheld from you because you and the infinite are not two, but one. This awareness naturally reflects itself as outward abundance, but it begins inside, in silence, in your I am. Today I want to invite you to stop striving and start embodying. Stop chasing and start realizing. When you boldly declare, I am a multi-billionaire, you are not lying, you are aligning. You are claiming what has always been yours. So as we journey through this teaching, open your mind, but even more, open your heart. Prepare to see yourself not as someone who needs to earn billions, but as one who already is the embodiment of infinite riches. This is the true meaning of wealth, not the numbers in your account, but the abundance of your consciousness. And when the inner is aligned, the outer must follow. You are here to remember that you are not separate from the supply. You are the supply expressing itself. And so let's begin this journey of awakening to your true riches, the riches of the soul which overflow into every area of your life, spiritual, emotional, and material. You are a multi-billionaire, now and always. Most people who desire wealth find themselves in a constant cycle of striving, working and hoping, yet never truly arriving. Why? Because they are trying to change the outer world without first transforming their inner state. The struggle comes from a deep misunderstanding of how reality works. You see, the external world is nothing more than a mirror reflecting back to you the beliefs and assumptions you hold in your mind. If you believe you are lacking, unworthy, or separate from abundance, then, no matter how hard you work, your outer life will keep confirming those beliefs. People say, if only I had more money, then I would feel secure, happy, and free. But the spiritual truth is the opposite. You must first feel secure, happy, and free in your consciousness, and then the money will come. Wealth does not come to those who desperately need it. It flows to those who align with it. Many carry subconscious stories that repel wealth, stories inherited from family, culture, or painful experiences. Thoughts like, I don't deserve that, or money is evil, or I'll never have enough, play quietly in the background of the mind, creating a constant inner resistance. And so even when opportunities present themselves, they are sabotaged by fear, doubt, or feelings of unworthiness. Then there is the tendency to focus entirely on lack, to see what is missing rather than what is already present. Every thought of not enough reinforces the illusion of scarcity. The more you think you are poor, the more you experience poverty. Even if billions are waiting for you just beyond your limited vision. Another reason people struggle is because they chase wealth as if it were outside themselves. They run after it, trying to grab it, instead of realizing that it flows from within. You cannot chase what you already are. You can only awaken to it. The mystical law is simple but profound. Your outer world cannot exceed your inner conviction. If you see yourself as small, broke, or undeserving, the world will agree with you. If you see yourself as abundant, powerful, and already complete, the world will conspire to reflect that truth back to you. So the struggle is not because wealth is difficult to attain. It is because most people have not yet learned to silence the voice of fear, to dissolve the false stories of limitation, and to claim what has always belonged to them. When you stop resisting and start believing, when you see yourself as already wealthy, the struggle ends. Because in truth, there was never anything to chase. There was only something to remember. You are already rich beyond measure. At the very center of your being is a quiet but mighty force, the eternal I Am. These two words may seem simple, yet they hold the secret to the entire universe. They are the name of God within you, the creative power that shapes your world and determines everything you experience. When you say I am, you are not merely describing yourself, you are declaring creation into motion. Whatever you attach to those words, you bring to life. Say I am poor, and you clothe yourself in poverty. Say I am unloved, and you shut the door on love. But when you dare to say I am wealthy, I am worthy, I am a multi-billionaire, you awaken the divine seed of abundance already planted in your soul, and it begins to unfold into your reality. This is not wishful thinking or idle affirmation. It is a mystical law. Your consciousness is the cause of your world, and the words you speak from your heart are the tools of creation. The outer world is nothing more than your inner world made visible. Think of it this way. Just as a painter uses a brush to bring an image to life on a canvas, you use your I Am to paint the canvas of your existence. But unlike the painter, who is limited by time and materials, the I Am is limitless. It is infinite supply, infinite potential, infinite wealth, waiting only for you to direct it. Too often, people misuse this power unknowingly. They say, I am tired, I am broke, I am unlucky, and they wonder why life seems to echo those words back to them. They speak of what they see instead of what they desire. But the mystic knows, speak of what you desire as though it is already yours, and the world will rearrange itself to fulfill that vision. To understand the I Am is to understand that you are never a victim of circumstances. You are the author of them. The universe listens to the feeling behind your words and responds accordingly. When you say, I am a multi-billionaire, and feel it as true, You summon the unseen forces of abundance to shape themselves around your belief. This is why the greatest spiritual teachers emphasized self-awareness and careful use of language. They knew that every I am statement is a seed planted in the fertile soil of the subconscious, and in time, it must bear fruit. So speak only what you wish to see. Begin every morning with deliberate declarations of your true nature. Say, I am divine, I am abundant, I am prosperous, I am limitless, I am a multi-billionaire, not because you are pretending, but because you are awakening to what has always been true at the level of spirit. Once you grasp the creative power of I am, you can never again speak carelessly. You realize that your words are sacred, that your imagination is holy ground, and that your destiny begins the moment you claim it. You are not becoming a multi-billionaire. You already are in consciousness. And as you remain faithful to this truth, the world has no choice but to reflect it back to you. Before anything in this world can become yours, you must first claim it in the secret place of your own mind and heart. All wealth, all success, all abundance begins not with action, but with imagination. To see yourself as a multi-billionaire in consciousness is to accept and embody that reality inwardly long before it appears outwardly. This is where most people falter. They wait to see the evidence before they believe. But the spiritual law is the opposite. You believe first, and then you see. The outer world lags behind the inner world. It is simply a shadow cast by your state of being. To wait for proof before you feel rich is to deny your own creative power and to remain enslaved to appearances. So how does one see themselves as a billionaire now? It begins by closing your eyes and withdrawing from the noise of the senses. Enter into the sanctuary of your imagination, where all things are possible. There you deliberately assume the feeling of already having what you desire. You see yourself walking into magnificent buildings, signing generous checks, blessing others with your wealth, living in beautiful spaces, and moving through life with quiet confidence and ease. But it is not enough to simply see these images like a distant movie. You must feel them as real. You must walk in your imagination with such conviction that the outer world seems pale by comparison. You speak as though it is already done. You act from that state of mind, and you refuse to contradict it with doubt or fear. When you see yourself as a billionaire in consciousness, you begin to think differently. You no longer entertain thoughts of scarcity or comparison because you understand that your wealth is inevitable. You no longer beg the world for opportunities because you know that your consciousness attracts everything you need. Even your decisions and habits begin to align naturally with this inner vision. You treat yourself with more respect, you make bolder choices, and you carry yourself with quiet authority. You are determined not to fall even when carried to the limit. This inner seeing is not mere fantasy. It is the seed of creation, and it must produce after its kind. The moment you sustain the inner vision of being a billionaire, the outer world begins to conform. Circumstances, people, and events arrange themselves, often in mysterious and unexpected ways, to reflect your new state of being. Never underestimate the power of seeing yourself correctly. If you continue to identify as someone lacking, struggling, or small, no amount of work or luck can save you. But the moment you dare to see yourself as already wealthy, already a multi-billionaire in consciousness, you awaken the divine forces of abundance that have been waiting for your command. So start today. Every time you look in the mirror, see not just the person standing before you, but the billionaire within you. Feel the weight of wealth already resting upon your shoulders. Walk with that energy, speak with that certainty, and live from that truth. The world cannot help but bow to the one who has claimed their rightful inheritance in spirit. You are a billionaire now because you see it, you feel it, you know it. And what you know in the secret becomes visible in the open. One of the greatest challenges on the journey to manifesting wealth is learning to detach from what you see and trust what you cannot yet see. The physical world, your current bank account, your debts, your circumstances, can be loud, demanding, and convincing. It constantly shouts at you, look, this is all you are, this is all you can have. But this is a lie born of appearances. You're taught from childhood to believe only what we can touch, count, and measure. But the mystics have always known that the real substance of wealth is invisible. It lives in the realm of consciousness, of faith, of imagination. When you detach from the physical and trust the unseen, you rise above the illusion of lack and align with the truth of abundance. Detachment does not mean you stop caring or stop acting. It means you stop identifying yourself with temporary appearances. You stop making your current circumstances the measure of your worth or your future. You look beyond the surface and hold firm to the invisible riches already present within you. Imagine walking through a barren field, yet knowing beneath the soil there is a hidden treasure. You do not weep over the empty ground because you know what lies beneath. In the same way, you must walk through your life, even if it seems empty now, with a quiet certainty that the treasure is already yours, just waiting to emerge. Faith is seeing with the inner eye what the outer eye cannot yet perceive. It is hearing the silent whispers of your destiny above the noise of doubt. It is standing tall, even when the world calls you foolish, because you know the unseen is more real than the seen. When you trust the unseen, you stop forcing, grasping, and chasing. You understand that abundance flows naturally to those who believe. You no longer beg life for crumbs, because you already feel rich inside. And that feeling of inner wealth becomes magnetic, drawing opportunities, people, and resources to you effortlessly. And detachment also frees you from fear. As long as you believe your wealth comes only from a specific job, a single client, or a certain market, you live in constant anxiety because those things can come and go. But when you trust the unseen, you realize that your true supply is infinite and cannot be lost. Jobs may end, clients may leave, markets may change, but the source within you remains unshaken. You begin to train your mind to look beyond appearances. When bills arrive, bless them and say, my supply is limitless and already here. When doubts creep in, close your eyes and feel the unseen abundance flowing to you. When others question your vision, stand firm in your knowing. The physical world is a shadow, and the unseen is the light that casts it. Trust the light. Live as though what you desire is already yours, because in truth, it already is. Detach from the noise of appearances, rest in the silence of faith. Trust the unseen, and the seen will have no choice but to follow. Knowing the truth that you are already abundant in spirit is powerful, but to truly transform your life, you must practice embodying that truth every single day. Wealth is not something you wait for. It is a state of being that you deliberately step into, moment by moment. Through consistent conscious practices, you align yourself more fully with the billionaire state until it becomes natural, effortless, and undeniable. So begin each day with awareness. As soon as you wake, before you touch your phone or speak to anyone, place your hand over your heart, close your eyes, and declare, I am abundance, I am wealth, I am a multi-billionaire. Feel the weight of those words. Do not just say them. Let them echo through your body and mind as though they are already true. See yourself moving through the day with confidence and ease, knowing you already possess everything you could ever need. The power of visualization cannot be overstated. Spend a few minutes in silence every day, creating vivid mental pictures of your desired reality. Sit comfortably, breathe deeply, and see yourself living your dream life in rich detail, walking through grand spaces, blessing others with generosity, handling wealth with grace. Feel the emotions of that reality as though you were living it now. The mind cannot distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is real. So this inner experience begins to reprogram your outer life. Affirmations are another powerful daily tool. Write down and repeat affirmations that reflect your billionaire state. Say them aloud with conviction and clarity. Today, I am infinite abundance, manifest in human form. Wealth flows to me from unseen and seen sources effortlessly. I am worthy of limitless prosperity. Everything I touch multiplies and blesses others and myself. These affirmations plant seeds in your subconscious that blossom into reality over time. One of the most transformative practices is maintaining inner silence and gratitude. Throughout the day, pause often to connect with your breath and simply say, "Thank you." Gratitude magnifies what you already have and opens the door to more. Be grateful not just for what is visible, but for what is coming, even before it arrives. This trust in the unseen accelerates its manifestation. Monitor your inner dialogue. Every thought you entertain is an affirmation, whether positive or negative. If you catch yourself thinking thoughts of lack, fear, or doubt, gently replace them with thoughts of abundance and confidence. Speak to yourself as you would speak to a billionaire, with respect, love, and assurance. Also, practice generosity. Even if your current means seem small, give freely of your time, your smile, your attention, and your resources. This signals to your subconscious that you already possess more than enough, and it triggers the flow of even greater abundance into your life. Lastly, walk, move, and behave as though you already are what you claim to be. Straighten your posture, lift your head high, and carry yourself with dignity. Act as though your wealth is inevitable, because in truth, it already exists in the unseen. Now, these daily practices may seem simple, but they are profoundly transformative. By living every day in alignment with the billionaire state, through thought, feeling, and action, you begin to blur the line between the inner and outer. The world will have no choice but to catch up with the reality you have established within. You do not practice these things to become wealthy. You practice because you already are. And with each passing day, the inner billionaire you embody becomes the outer billionaire the world recognizes. One of the most overlooked barriers to manifesting wealth and living as a true billionaire in spirit and in form is the silent guilt and fear many people carry about money. These feelings are often buried deep in the subconscious, shaping our decisions and sabotaging our desires without us even realizing it. To fully step into the billionaire state, you must release these inner chains and embrace wealth as your divine birthright. From a young age, many of us were taught conflicting messages about money, that it is selfish to desire it, that it corrupts people, that it is somehow unspiritual to be rich. Perhaps you were told that to be good or worthy, you must struggle and sacrifice. These beliefs seep into the mind and create an inner conflict where part of you desires wealth, but another part secretly believes it is wrong to have it. And so, even when opportunities arise, you may hesitate to take them. You may undervalue yourself, push away abundance, or find ways to lose what you gain, all because of this unconscious guilt. But here is the spiritual truth. Wealth is not inherently good or bad. It is neutral, a tool, an energy, an extension of the divine abundance that flows through all things. Money itself has no power to corrupt you. It simply amplifies what is already within you. In the hands of someone who is loving and conscious, it becomes a blessing, a force for good, a way to uplift others. Wealth is a form of expression. It allows you to create, to give, to enjoy, to fulfill your purpose on a larger scale. Denying yourself wealth does not make you more spiritual. It only limits your ability to serve and experience life fully. Fear also keeps many from stepping into their true abundance. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of losing what they gain. But when you truly understand that your wealth flows from within and not from external sources, these fears dissolve. No one can take from you what is already anchored in your consciousness. Circumstances may change, markets may rise and fall, but the infinite supply within you remains unshaken. So how do you remove guilt and fear around wealth? Begin by forgiving yourself for any past mistakes with money. Release any shame about your desires and affirm that it is not only okay to want more, it is natural, because you are an expression of an infinite, ever-expanding universe. Next, reframe how you see wealth. See it as spiritual, as sacred, because it allows you to bless others, to build, to create beauty, and to inspire. Bless money every time it comes into your life, no matter how small the amount, and bless it again as it flows out to serve others. Meditate on the idea that abundance is not a privilege for a few. It is the true nature of all creation. The stars, the oceans, the trees, everything exists in lavish abundance, and so do you. And finally, choose love over fear. Whenever fear whispers that you are not enough, or that it's dangerous to have too much, gently remind yourself, I am worthy. I am safe. I am a channel for infinite wealth. I am a blessing to the world. As you remove guilt and fear, you free yourself to receive and to give without hesitation. You stand tall in the knowledge that wealth is not something you steal from others. It is something you awaken within yourself. And in that awakening, you become not just rich in money, but rich in spirit, in peace, in joy, a true billionaire of the soul. Now that you understand the spiritual truth of wealth, the creative power of your I am, and the practices that align you with your divine inheritance, there is only one thing left to do. Walk in the billionaire state, starting now. This is where knowing becomes being. It is not enough to listen to these words and agree with them intellectually. You must let them sink into your heart and live them in every step you take. Every moment of your life is a choice. To walk as the person you've always been, ruled by fear and lack, or to walk as the billionaire of spirit and matter you truly are. Walking in the billionaire state means carrying yourself with quiet certainty, even when the world around you seems unchanged. It means refusing to beg life for scraps and instead moving through your days with dignity, gratitude, and confidence, knowing that what you claim in consciousness must appear in form. You wake in the morning and choose thoughts of abundance, not because you see billions in your account yet, but because you know they are already yours in the unseen. You speak as though you have already arrived, your words reflecting the wealth of your inner world. You move through your tasks with presence and poise, as someone who belongs to this world of abundance, not as someone on the outside looking in. Even in the small choices, you honor the billionaire within. You take care of yourself. You dress and carry yourself as one who respects their own worth. You invest your time and attention wisely. You treat others with generosity and grace, knowing that you have more than enough to give. When challenges arise, and they will, you meet them from the billionaire state, not with panic, but with faith. You remind yourself, this too shall pass, and my abundance remains untouched. You stop measuring your wealth by external numbers and instead measure it by the richness of your being, which no circumstance can diminish. Walking in the billionaire state also means embodying responsibility and purpose. A true billionaire in spirit knows that their wealth is not only for themselves, but is meant to bless others, to build, to heal, to inspire. You walk with humility, but never with smallness, understanding that your abundance uplifts everyone around you. Every day, in every way, you reinforce this truth. I am already what I desire to be. I am already where I desire to go. I am already a multi-billionaire, in thought, in feeling, in being, and therefore it must appear in my world. This is the secret. You don't wait for wealth to arrive so you can feel like a billionaire. You feel like a billionaire now, and wealth comes rushing to meet you. So as you leave this teaching today, take a deep breath and feel that truth settle into your bones. Walk out into the world as though it already belongs to you, because it does. Smile at life as though its treasures are already in your hands, because they are. You are not becoming a billionaire. You are remembering that you always were. So walk boldly, walk lightly, walk faithfully, and let the world catch up to the truth you already embody.